And so now the superstars of tonight's racing hit the track. And I would predict that this will be a very fast, very entertaining, very attacking race. Looking at the names in this race, right at the front, Connor Lambert, who just won the 500 metre time trial. Hugo Galanti right behind him, and then David Lewis, Lewis McRae, Hamish Goda. Sean Maggs, the number 7 with the Midland kit on. Then Kai Bonza. So these boys do have a rolling lap before the start of their 30-lap race, 7.5 kilometres. This is a rolling lap, boys. The race is not on. So Aidan Holland's the number 8 at the back with Bryce Lanigan. And have a look at the speed that this race goes out from the start. Hugo Galanti, the powerhouse on the front. David Lewis, never scared to attack. Hamish Goda, the victim of a bad crash only a matter of weeks ago, coming back from injury as well. Here on a Monday night, hit the deck very, very hard indeed. So Connor Lambert just takes over from Casey Smith, and then Lewis McRae. And I would say that Lewis McRae is possibly the dark horse in this race. He has been absolutely on fire the Friday night B-grade racing, so certainly will be one to watch. Sean Maggs, the number 7, hasn't been on the track a lot of late, but has rocked up. Is bringing some very good fitness from the mountain bike and the triathlon scene, as well as his road riding. Also, just announced today that Sean Maggs is been accepted into the state junior mountain bike team to go to nationals. So Casey Smith back on the front with Hugo Galanti, Hamish Goda, and then Casey Smith. And have a look at the pace that Hugo is driving this bunch at. So Jack Hodges, his first race up into the under-17s, just starting to feel the effects of that pace. You can just see when 1 or 2 gaps open up, how difficult that is to get back on, and it stretches you physically and mentally when those little gaps open up. So certainly no big attacks yet, but the pace has certainly been on. Lewis McRae just driving that. Shawnee Maggs just moving up. Kai Bonza still in the bunch there as well. And Aidan Hollands, also a new one up into the under-17s. But certainly the pace driven hard by Hugo Galanti. Connor Lambert moves up, still nursing an injury. Has a plate and 10 screws in his shoulder. You certainly wouldn't know that looking at how the guy's riding. Hamish Goda, the number 3 rider, on the front. And so 9 laps down and 21 left to go. Kai Bonza, the number 4 rider, will be someone you would not want to take to the finish line with the sprint that guy has on him. So some of these riders will be looking to attack and get rid of some of the sprinters in this race. So the whole bunch still together, Jack Hodges and Bryce Lanigan, just happy to take their place just at the back of the bunch at this point. And Casey Smith has had enough of this rolling around and decides to get on with the job. He has taken 2 of the big hitters with him. And Lewis McRae has just upped the pace. like a madman, and these boys are on. Connor Lambert is absolutely driving it. Casey Smith just moves up onto the front of this bunch and is still driving that pace. Hamish Goda has ridden across for Pura Vida Apollo Racing and he's in there with his teammate. But Kai Bonza has come across. Sean Maggs trying to close up that gap and bring David Lewis with him. But Hamish Goda on the front of this one can't quite maintain that pace, and we have most of the field back together. So that was a very, very big attack, but we're all back together. Jack Hodges just feeling the effects of this pace just in the back straight. Shawnee Maggs not too keen to do too much about what's going on at the front. All of the boys just looking over their shoulder, and that gap opens up because of Hamish Goda just driving this at the front. And have a look who's behind him. The little pocket rocket from Bunbury. Bryce Lanigan is gone away there as well. Lockie Size just moved up, and Bryce Lanigan finds himself out the front on his own. Connor Lambert just moves up, not too keen to chase him down, as does Kai Bonza and Shawnee Maggs. Bryce Lanigan smart enough to know he doesn't want to be left out there to dry. So we've still got gaps opening up in this field. Hugo Galanti driving it, and David Lewis, second wheel in there behind him. So certainly Casey Smith, one to watch out for in this race, as well as Lewis McRae, just letting his legs recover at the back of this bunch. Lewis McRae having a look for the wheel he needs to be on, and that is Connor Lambert. He is not letting that guy too far out of his sights whatsoever. The boys have just slowed the pace a little bit. So Kai Bonza comes to the front, really our sprint specialist. And they go through with 11 laps to go. So nearly 2/3 of this race over. Connor Lambert just moves up, and Lewis McRae, you can see by the reaction of the riders, Lewis just steps the pace up and then moves right up the track to leave Hamish Goda to do a big, big turn at the front. Hugo Galanti still now never far from the front and never far from driving this pace. So Hugo just moves up. David Lewis not wanting to do too much of a turn. Casey Smith has a look over his shoulder. Shawnee Maggs is shaking the head, just wondering what these guys are doing. So Kai Bonza certainly won't be wanting to drive it too hard at the front, but wanting to be save his legs. But have a look at that. Kai Bonza moves up, and Bryce Lanigan, the little Bunbury rocket, just goes off the front and has got a huge gap already. That is a big move from young Bryce Lanigan, and this could be the upset of the night. He is certainly a very, very hard rider. Hugo Galanti has realised this is a serious attack, and he is the one who has to do the work. Lewis McRae now has come back to the front of the bunch, and he has Connor Lambert on his wheel. Get behind Bryce Lanigan as he comes into the main straight. How much can he take? How much can he do? 1,500 metres left to run in this race. Connor Lambert is just driving it at the front. Casey Smith takes over the turn. Hamish Goda in there with him as well. And Lewis McRae, the four big hitters. Bryce Lanigan is just run out of legs as those big hitters now come around him, and we have 5 guys at the front of this race. Can Bryce Lanigan get onto him? And no is the answer. We now have 4 guys away at the front of this one. Casey Smith just moves up. Hamish Goda, Connor Lambert and Lewis McRae 1,000 metres left to go. Have a look at Hugo Galante, just drives the pace all the way back onto these boys. Brings David Lewis and Sean Maggs with him. And then there is 8 guys left at the front of this bunch. And these guys are definitely starting to hurt. You've only got to have a look at the looks on their faces. Casey Smith not wanting to do too much, but has a look who is in this bunch. He wants to know who his competition is. Bryce Lanigan, once again, at the front of this bunch, while the other boys just recover. 500 metres left to go, 2 laps. Good boy. And we have the 2 Pura Vida Apollo boys at the front of this bunch with Connor Lambert right behind them. They will get the bell this time around. Hamish Goda is the one to kick. Connor Lambert decides to go with him, and there is a gap open immediately. Lewis McRae trying his best around the outside. Hamish Goda, what a move from this guy. Connor Lambert has to come around the outside. Hamish Goda on the inside.